What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Coach Joe Strong, here to bring you another powerful episode of the Business of Strength podcast, where you could hear the tips, tools, and interviews to turn your gym into a profitable business you will love. Do not forget, our next live event is January 9th and 10th, right here again in New York, the 2025 Business of Strength Sales Summit. All things sales are going down at the Nyack Hotel January 9th and 10th. We have a special guest keynote speaker, Nick Casano, aka Nicky Cass, aka Coach Al. Nick has rose to social media superstardom in the last couple of years and has gotten some incredibly big deals. He's going to teach you how he leverages social media to convert to actual sales, and he's an incredibly smart, sharp young entrepreneur. Everybody gets the Coach Al, the skits. They go to his page. It's funny, it's laughter, but there's a tremendous amount of thought and intention behind what he does. He's creating a real business behind it. He's a super sharp guy. He's been a client here for a while at Varsity House, and I've had a real engaging conversations with him about business. So for a young guy, he's very forward thinking, and he's surrounded himself with some incredible mentors. So this guy's going to blow up in the next couple of years. He's not only does he have the talent and the funny, he's got that spark in him, but he has a real entrepreneurial spirit and mindset as well. Then you have the usual cast of characters. You got myself, Dan, and Adam talking about. I'm going to be talking about how to close the deal, right? The ideal closeout. I'm going to give you the sales closures, roadblock dispels, all the ways in which we keep the sales conversation going. Dan's going to break down how to simplify your sales process to really improve the revenue stream, right? And how to go from speed to lead to conversion to the bank account as fast as possible. Adam's going to be talking about on creating a training product and creating sales within the training product and on the gym floor, and a product that sells itself. And then we have an awesome guest speakers from our mastermind group. Some of the best of the best of the best. We got Emily Neff running an amazing gym out in Pennsylvania, doing all girls training, killing it. Noam Tamir smashing it in New York City, right? Got a super, super successful and profitable gym in New York City, a very tough market. Noam crushes it. Derek Taylor, one of our OG business mastermind, business of strength members. Him and his wife have an amazing gym, Rebel Strength, and they're looking for another. So they're on the verge of expansion and doing some really great things. And he's going to talk about he had some real problems. He had a $250 million problem, and he's going to a $250,000 problem, and he's going to show you how he overcame that. And then we got Mike Lissy, our pipeline and automation specialist, CRM specialist, and he's going to talk to you how to optimize your sales pipeline. And he's done a tremendous job for us increasing sales with automation and so forth. So that's January 9th and 10th, right here in New York at the Nyack Hotel. It's about 10 minutes from Varsity House HQ. Come out and spend some time with us. Spend 2 days, a couple $100. This would be the best way to kick off your 2025. If you want to dominate 2025 and increase your sales, make more money, right? And absolutely crush it. This is the start. Get it done. This is the way we kick off the 2025 season, and then we have a great cast of workshops and seminars coming up for 2025. You can go to the businessofstrength.com, businessofstrength.com, and check out all that. All right, today I'm going to be doing a little year-end planning bullet point list, and then I'm doing a long year-end planning call with our business mastermind group on December 18th. I'm probably going to film that, and I'll probably post that as a podcast itself or as a webinar style cast, because it'll have PowerPoints and stuff like that. Because I think it's so valuable for gym owners and anybody in the fitness space who's running their own business, whether you're just a trainer running your own training business, 1099, and you're training inside of another gym, but you're doing it on your own, or you have a brick and mortar gym, or you have a fitness company, whatever, the yoga, Pilates, right, Zumba, whatever it is that you got. Okay, preparation for the new year is a giant part of the process of being successful. And as our longtime friend and GM and our longest tenured employee, Big Mike, always says, a man who fails to plan only plans to fail, right? And I always thought Mike is an exceptional coach and an exceptionally strong human, because he's always had a plan. He's always had a training plan, a diet plan, a work plan. He's just that type of guy. So again, planning is key. One of our longtime mentors and friends, Vince Gabriel, business coach that we've gone to for years, as most of you know, always says all the time, you can never outrun the psychology of the owner and or operators of your business. It is true. So today I'm going to focus on a lot of like personal stuff for yourself, and I'm going to give you the bullet point list and kind of the why behind each thing. And then you could take that list and kind of run with it. I'll make sure the list goes in the show notes so you have the bullet points in front of you. I might even link some documents that we use to this. But like I said, I'm recording that call December 18th, and we'll probably put that out as some type of webinar or something for you guys, because I want everybody to get on top of it and crush it, right? As we always say, the more gym owners who smash it and make it and do it right, the better it is for the entire industry, right? We all win when you win, right? Because that's how we professionalize this industry and start to really make some moves as an industry. All right, so the year is coming to an end. Most of us are in our year-end planning. At least I hope we are, right? We're thinking about what are some of the goals and things we need for next year. What do we need to, who do we need to hire? What's our big membership goal? What's a revenue goal? Maybe some personal goals and stuff like that. And I think if everybody took 2 or 3 hours, one day, take 3 hours on a Friday and just, lock yourself in the office and plan this crap out. Man, the moves that you can make just because you have a plan in place and you've thought out and executed a plan. And there is such power in that. I cannot explain it enough how powerful that is, to be able to have that, gift in front of you, an actual plan, a guideline, a some guardrails, as my first business coach, Pat Rigsby, likes to say. You having a set of standards, discipline, right? It's everything. The planning is everything because it sets up the action, right? You have to know before you can go. Okay. So you have to know what you're trying to do before you can go do something. All right. And so as the business thought leaders in your gyms, right, it's your job to come to the table with a done plan. That's like what we like to say. Dan and I use a lot of football analogies, is at the 5 yard line. This is the proposed plan for 2025. Then we have our year end offsite with our team. We finalize the plan. We get everybody excited about it. We tweak it. We revise it. We X a few things. We add one or two things. We get the rest of the team on board. Everybody raises their hand and says, aye, right? Like, we're all in. Okay, great. This is the plan. Execute. And we do the same thing on the personal side, right? I have an offsite meeting with my wife the weekend before Christmas, right? We do this every year, taking Antonio away for 2 days. We take a little family staycation. We're doing that on the 20th and the 21st. So from the 20th to the 22nd. And me and my wife will get up nice and early on those 2 days, on that Saturday and Sunday, and we'll spend about 2 hours each day just going over the calendar, booking some trips, making a list of goals for me, her, and Antonio, and just kind of like clearing the air. Like, is there anything you want to tell me? Like, tell me where I suck this year, right? And then she rolls out her giant, like 50-foot long scroll of complaints, and so forth. But again, get the things that you need to do done and out of your mind and onto a piece of paper, and you will set yourself up for success. So here's a couple ideas to think about and some of the things that we put on our personal planners for the end of the year. And then for the people who are in our consulting group, we send out like a large, very business specific year-end planning guide. That's kind of a year in review plus a year like thinking forward documents. And again, like once I send this back out in a couple weeks, I'll probably put some of that stuff in there and package it all together for everybody and ship it out. So I think that'd be pretty cool. So, all right, what's the first step in the process? So the first step in the process is being in the right place in the right frame of mind. So, again, like going to an office, maybe going to a WeWork place or something like that, the coffee shop where you're not going to be distracted and you're going to focus, 3 to 4 hours of your time and attention on planning out your year. The very first step in the process and bullet point number one is going to be your brain dump. And the question you want to ask yourself is what's capturing my attention, right? What is constantly popping up in your head? Okay. What's popping up in your head? Is there something just write anything? It could be personal, emotional, family, business, employees, customer stuff, whatever it is. Just get a pen and paper and start writing. Take 30, take the first 30 minutes and just don't stop writing. Don't let anything distract you and just write. What's capturing your attention? What are the things that keep you up at night? What are you constantly thinking about? What keeps popping up? What gets you excited? What makes you pissed off? Everything. You get as much out as humanly possible. All right. The brain dump is important. A little stuffy here. We have my son had an ear infection. I think a bunch of us got a head cold in the family, so it's going around. It's that time of the year. So the brain number one is the brain dump. Now from that, you're gonna have a couple pages of notes of a bunch of scribble and scrabble and stuff that like is capturing your attention. The next thing, and arguably one of the most powerful things you can do, is we're going to call this your quit list. And this is something I've done before, but I was reminded by Coach Billy Armstrong at the last Underground Strength Con workshop we did. He gave a powerful, powerful talk, and he reminded me of the need for a quit list. What are the things that I'm going to stop doing that either A, interfere with my time, or B, interfere with my presence to get me closer to my ultimate goal or allow me to action the things that are more important to get me to my ultimate goal, right? So maybe it's scrolling on Instagram late at night. Maybe it's watching too much TV. Maybe it's procrastinating and not doing your daily planner or your weekly planner. Um, Maybe it's, kicking the can on your training programs, right? And you just don't have them written down and you're kind of going off the cuff, right? Maybe it could be anything, right? It's like, what are you going to quit doing? Maybe it's you avoid, hard conversations with employees because you don't want the conflict, right? You don't want to have that candid conversation, which is tough. I get it. It sucks, right? Nobody wants to have to talk to another grown ass adult like a kid, right? But that's just human life, right? It is the reality of business, right? Sometimes you have to call other humans out on their bullshit, right? Um, maybe it's you have not dedicated your time, you're going to stop giving up your training time for a meeting time or other bullshit, right? That's in the way, right? Maybe it's you're going to stop hitting the snooze button. You're going to get up earlier and work out. I don't understand. Everybody in the gym industry, I talk to so many people who aren't really training that much. I said, well, what are you doing in the morning? Oh, I don't do the morning sessions anymore. I said, okay, well, when you stop doing the morning sessions, that's where you replace it with your fitness. All right. And like any grown ass adult over 35, you get your ass up early and you get it done and you stop whining about that shit is what you do. All right. I can't find time for my fitness. Okay. You own a gym. Figure it out. All right. So the quit list is bullet point number two. Super important. It's probably a big list. For a lot of us, it might be a lot of things. Maybe you got to quit self-sabotaging. Maybe you got to quit being the victim. Maybe you got to quit blaming other people, right? Be truthful with yourself. There's a lot of things that I need to quit. All right. There's a lot of things that I need to do. I have some very bad habits, and I make note of them, and I visualize them, and I work my ass off to try and get rid of one or two big ones every year, and that's a hard thing to do because the quit list is powerful. Because the quit list means you got to look in the mirror and admit to yourself first that you got shit that sucks that you need to quit. All right, that there's bad habits there. You know, maybe you need to quit watching Monday Night Football to take your wife out on a date once in a while, right? There's some things like that, right? We just get busy living, right? But there's lots of little things, okay? Maybe you need to quit, being on your social media when you're at your kids' games or with your kids, right? So there's lots of things. I see lots of bad habits that people have, right? You have to be honest with yourself, right? And I have a lot of those bad habits too, so I'm not pointing the finger at anybody before I point the finger at myself, right? Everybody has a bunch of stuff that we could get better at, right? And I think it all starts with actualizing a quit list. That was a great point by Billy Armstrong. Thank you, Billy, for reminding us of how powerful it is to let go sometimes. And sometimes simplification and the identification of things that we do bad or use up our time, right? Maybe I got to stop booking too many useless meetings. Like if the meeting is not directly related to sales or the improvement of our business or lives, it just don't happen, right? You got to go speak to somebody else on the team first. All right. All right, point number three. And this one's a big one. This is more of a new adaptation for me, maybe in the last 5 years or so. I think, I read I think it's Michael Easter's book, Comfort Crisis, and I said, man, I've always been big on having like some type of cool yearly goal or yearly challenge, but I never really thought of it in the way that he put it in the term of misogi, which is a very popular term now. There's lots of people talking about misogi. You hear, Jesse Isler, Devin Levesque, there's a lot of like influencer guys that are big on the misogi stuff. But man, has this been a game changer for me. Putting something on your schedule that's physically, emotionally hard, right? Whatever that might be for you, right? It really depends what that is. And I'll give you a couple examples when I'm talking. But a Masogi, there's a couple rules to Masogi. One, it has to be hard. There has to be an inherent suck factor. There has to be an inherent, let's call it scare factor. Okay. And there has to be an inherent worry that you won't complete the thing, whatever it is. Okay. Writing a book could be somebody's misogi, right? Very hard task, right? I like putting a misogi. That's more of a personal business misogi, but like your physical misogi, your true misogi should be something that's physically very challenging. All right. So if you wanted to write a book while climbing Mount Everest, then that's a great misogi. Okay. My misogi last year was a hunting trip to Australia. I trained super hard, shot my bow every day, rucked miles every day. We hiked up and down mountains every day, sometimes 10, 12, 14, I think, miles up and down mountains, right? The one day, chasing goats and boars through the mountains of Australia. That was my Misogi. A Misogi could be Bright Angel Trail at the Grand Canyon. Misogi could be a whitewater rafting trip with your family, right? Kind of make it a family thing, right? But a Misogi is a challenging personal accomplishment of physicality, emotion, you know, personal growth, okay, an adventure, right? Think of it as an adventure. Like the Vikings, you know, lived for adventure. The samurai lived for honor and adventure, right? So think about something like that. And again, I have and the last rule of Misogi is there is no Misogi, kind of like Fight Club. It's not something you want to have, be posting around and things like that. It's really the for you, right? So, I have my Misogi um identified and in the planning stages for 2025. I know what I'm going to do. I know where it is, and I'm planning the dates and times now and the people that I'm trying to drag into it with me to make it happen. And it's going to be a tough one. And that's the whole point was that it requires a mindset shift where it's like shit. I'm going to have to put a lot of training in for this. I'm gonna have to really, get my gear right, get my mind right, right, have some support team around me, and this is gonna require a several people and the blessings of my family to get this done, right? And that's what makes it special, all right? Is all of the combination of that hard work and energy. Okay, Point. So once you get your Misogi locked in, we have our brain dump. We have a pile of scribble scrabble. That's all the things that are driving us crazy and making us happy and so forth. We have our quit list, shit to stop doing. We have our Misogi, our big, audacious, scary goal for the year, right? You can have a family Misogi too. Like last year, I had a family Misogi and a personal Misogi. And it's really a goal of mine to help my son and my wife identify their personal goals and Misogis and things like that. And again, it could be something minor. So, our family Misogi was a 10-mile hike at the Grand Canyon. We went to see the Grand Canyon. We hiked up a couple mountains. So our adventure Misogi was we hiked Camelback Mountain in for a 7-year-old, that's really hard. And we hiked the 10-mile trail at the Grand Canyon National Park. And again, for a 7-year-old and even my wife, right, that was no easy task, right? So that was a great way for them to challenge themselves physically, emotionally. We learned a lot. We spent time together, right? And that was an awesome way to culminate the year together. Okay. All right. Number four, your big goals and ideas in what I'll call the 5 F's. This is a proprietary Coach Joeism, right? And something that I've put together for my family. And think of the 5 F's as a pyramid of success, right? And anybody could visualize that pyramid of success. And the 5 F's are each area is a layer in that pyramid of success. So this pyramid has 5 layers. There's five, layers of success in your overall pyramid of success. The bottom layer is your fitness. Nothing happens until you're fit and healthy. Nothing. And you can't make money or be present with your family if you're sick and unhealthy. The second rung is your family and friends, right? That's your social connections, right? What are you doing with your family and friends? The third layer is your finances. Let's make some goddamn money. The fourth layer are your faculties or your skills that you need to acquire or that you're going to hone in on for the year. And last but not least is your fun. When all the other things are firing on all cylinders, we can have lots of fun. All right. When you're fit, you got great social connections, you're making some good cake, right? And you're feeling great, confident about your skills and your abilities, you could pretty much accomplish anything, right? That's a superpower. You have superpowers when you have those things in place. All right. And then we get to have lots of fun, right? And fun is a sliding scale for a lot of people. So again, the bottom row, fitness. What are you doing with your fitness this year? What's your Misogi? What are your daily non-negotiables, right? What's going to be the daily fitness habit that you commit to for the year? Maybe what's your fitness quit list, right? Maybe you drink too much. Maybe you don't do any cardio, right? So we're going to quit doing that shit and we're going to change it. All right. Friends and family, right? Do you have some cool shit booked with your family? Do you have a summer vacation planned, right? If you have kids, you only get 18 summers. You better have 18 cool shit planned for the summer and make sure that you're the cool dad that does the cool things and takes the kids on cool trips, right? Doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It could just literally be playing in the woods, right? You got to be innovative. But what are you doing with your friends and family? Maybe it's a concert with your best friend. Maybe it's a weekly date night, with your wife or spouse or significant other. Maybe it's poker night with the boys once a quarter, right? Just to get your friends together. Okay, something like that. But how are you pouring into your social connections? Um, and number three, no, the third rung is your finances, right? What are you doing to safe harbor more money in 2025? Whether it's increase your earning potential, increase your savings, decrease spending, make some money moves, right? Improve your tax, allocation and expense, right? What are you doing to make money? Maybe it's you're finally paying off those student loans. You're gonna start maxing out your 401k or your Roth IRA or something like that. You're gonna start a 529 for your kids, whatever it is, right? You gotta secure every year. There should be at least one large financial goal. Hey, I'm going to pay off all my credit card debt this year. Hey, I'm gonna secure 100K in cash cushion in my business account, right? So we have a really healthy cash cushion for our business, right? That I could sleep at night. All right. Number four is your faculties, right? Your skills, right? What mental, emotional skills do you have to, or could be physical as well, mental, emotional, physical skills do you have to obtain in 25 to get closer to your goals, right? Maybe it's, again, you have to learn the skill of marketing, you have to learn the skill of patience, you have to learn the skill of good parenting, right? Because that's a skill, right? A lot of us weren't taught that. You have to learn the skill of sales. You have to learn the skill of leadership. You have to learn the skill of, running, right? Maybe you've always told yourself, like I did, that I suck at running and I hate running. Well, guess what? If you actually ran consistently, you wouldn't suck as much and you wouldn't hate it as much, right? Because when you start to get good at something, it doesn't stink as much, right? So stop telling yourself the narrative and just do the thing, right? So what skills do you have to obtain or improve upon to get you closer to your goal? And last but not least, what are you doing that's fun? Like what are some of the things I've talked about this a bunch of times, but I like to book my trips and vacations on Black Friday. So that's next week for us. If you're listening, that's the day after Thanksgiving. And I book my summer vacation. I'll book a couple trips with my family. We're taking a nice trip for President's Day week this year. We got a summer beach vacation. We'll do another trip in the fall, right? And I really try and get away for a week or two, at least once a quarter with the family, right? And I want to get those on the calendar for everybody to be excited about, right? So Antonio knows that we're going away, that my wife is excited and she's got a couple days off coming, and everybody's like charging towards a great fun goal of a family vacation or being together, right? Stuff like that. Okay, so that's number four, right? The big goals, the what we call the five F's. Okay, you kind of come up with maybe the F's, maybe that doesn't resonate with you. Maybe you have your own pyramid of success you can create. What are the things that are really important to you? But that's served me really well for the last, 15 years or so, thinking about things that way. All right. Number five, what are a couple personal passion projects that you want to do? Maybe you really want to dive more into your church. You want to dive more into your community. You want to do a charitable foundation. Maybe you're really into, like myself, you have a passion for hunting, right? So maybe a passion project is, for me, it would be like, I don't know, starting to build my own arrows, right? Or build my own, trad bow or something like that, right? A passion project that takes, I have to learn a skill. I maybe have to hire a mentor. I got to do something for a while, right? But what's a passion project of yours? It could be, maybe it's working on your home. Maybe you've been putting off a bunch of stuff at the house and you really want to, secure your man cave or whatever it is, right? And build that up. But what's a passion project that you're going to dig into in 25 that maybe outside the business, outside of family, it's just like something that's fun for you, right? Maybe you like to fish. Maybe you want to build an ATV trail. I don't know, whatever. It could be anything, right? I'm just spitting out ideas. Okay. Number six, we'll call this your daily big three. If you see a lot of the most successful people, it's that they've discerned daily action down to a very digestible idea of one to maybe five things tops, right? And if they do those five things every day, they're going to have success in a couple areas of their passion or their business. So now I like to do it both, right? Because not all of us get to live our passions as our business. Now, as much as I love the gym business, I have a lot of other hobbies. All right. So my passion set of big three, you can have a separate one for business. And I think that's kind of necessary for a lot of people, right? So my personal big three, similar to Cam Hanes, and kind of where I took it from, because I really love the bow hunting, and I've made that something that's like just something. It's such a, I don't know, it's such a skill. There's so much mental clarity that it's just a quiet millisecond of time. Well, nothing else matters except, you, the bow, the target, and especially when you actually have the opportunity to go out and hunt real, game. That time in the woods, the time with friends, that time in nature, the clarity, the quiet, the birds, the snow, the cold wind, the smells in the air. It's very hard to explain if you're not into it. Um, you know, but it's an amazing experience. And you think about the same thing if you love to ski, right? Just being on the mountain, the air and the cold, brisk mountain air in your face, the snow blistering on you. Like the whole thing is an experience, right? Of being in a place mentally, emotionally, where like the rest of the world just kind of fades away while you're doing the thing, right? So, but again, so my personal big three is ruck, shoot, lift, right? I try to hit my ruck every morning. As many of you have seen, I do the suburban ruck on the elliptical. I know you can make fun of me all you want, but I get it done. 35 to 45 minutes every day, 40-pound rucksack. When it is nice out, I go for a regular ruck, right? And I go out a lot of times, multiple times a week on a regular ruck. I shoot my bow just about every day, right? I try to take 25 to 50 shots every single day, right? And just, action shots, clarity, working on my process, my release, my breathing, so forth. And then I lift almost every day, right? I lift a minimum 4 days a week, but I try to lift something every day. I might swing the mace around, right? I got one of those awesome Brigade maces. I might do some Bulgarian bags. I might do some. I don't know. I might hit the punching bag for a little bit, right? I'm gonna do something, right? I'm gonna do something. I train every day. I always get 4 lifts a week, though. All right. So, what are your daily big three? My personal, my professional big three, my business big three are read, write, send it. All right. Read, write, send it. Right. My goal is to read and consume great media, marketing, and information every day. I read something every day. I write something every day, where it's an email, a blog post, a letter, you name it. It's something that is creative for the business, and send that shit, right? An offer a day, right? I'm making marketing and sales offers every single day, 7 days a week. That's a must, right? I do that every day, right? Every single day, even on Sundays. Somebody's getting a DM, somebody's getting something, right? And I'm on the marketing and sales forefront of this business every day, 7 goddamn days a week. Okay. Okay. I just got a text from my egg lady. My eggs are ready. I'd go pick up my eggs. Oh, find yourself an egg lady. You want farm fresh eggs, not that store bought crap. Get some good stuff. Okay, so that's number six. Our daily big three. Number seven and number eight are questions that I want you to ask yourself, right? And then you're going to answer these. And this would be, if you do these 8 things, you're going to be set up, man. And then we could dive a little deeper into the business side. Maybe there's something you have to actualize your actual business goals. You got to create a fourth quarter, a quarter one, action plan, and we could do that. I'll do a follow up call. But the last 2 questions to ask yourself are: what has to happen in 2025 for it to be a smash hit? Business. Maybe you could kind of go through the 5 Fs. Like, what has to happen with your fitness to be a crushing year? What has to happen with your family and friends to be a crushing year? What has to happen with your finances, your faculties, your fun, right? Or maybe it's that, or maybe it's just like, what has to happen? Like, I need to make X amount of dollars, right? Whatever it is, okay? And then number 8 is, who's missing from your life or your team that can help you get to your goals faster, easier, or with more clarity? Who's the who? Who are you missing? Could be on the personal side. Maybe it's an old friend, family member, that you haven't connected with in a while. On the business side, maybe you need to hire an admin. Maybe you need a new coach to alleviate some pressure on the training floor. Maybe you need a marketing assistant. I know I do, right? That's probably, big on my list for 2025. By the end of the year, I will have a full-time marketing assistant. Okay. What are the things? Who is the who? Who's going to help expedite the process? Because if there's one thing I've learned in business, it's who, not how, right? Processes are great, systems are great. You need those things. But the most important thing is that you have the right people in the right seats that believe in the mission and that are they're literally dumping gasoline on the process. That's what you need. So that's my process. I'm going to start with that. That's going to be done the next week. I'll keep adding on this, and you'll see me posting in my social media. You'll see me posting. I'll have a couple more podcasts, and after I do our year-end planning meeting with our business of strength team, we'll put some cool stuff out for you guys to do your year-end planning to get ahead and actualize, visualize your goals. You got to visualize, then you have to actualize, right? And it's reason it's called actualization is because it actually requires you to do something, right? You got to take action. So that's it. This is the business of strength. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.